welcome to the data science with R. And now about the three R programming and doing mathematics relation in R. Of the built-in functions which come in R language to do mathematical and statistical operations or relations will be one we can call it as exponential. Second one was log, that is takes up the natural logarithm, and log 10 takes up the logarithm with base 10. A square root function, and to bring up the positive number from the negative number, we are working with the absolute. Minus pi, we convert it towards positive pi. For that, we count up this the absolute. Similarly, some more interesting things that are a part of a mathematical function, be the uh, sine, 90, like that. We'll be putting up the answers that will be the trigonometric functions, support sine, cos, tan, etc. And similarly, the things what we can work with a vector will be the minimum in a vector, the maximum element in a vector. We need to identify those that can be taken up with minimum and maximum. But a little contradiction was followed by min. So which followed by min indicates it point out the index where the minimum value was located. And similarly, which dot max tells in a list of 10 items what where exactly is maximum item located that it is going to print it up. So that is where this which come into existence. Next comes the P max and P min, where they are going to use up with the element wise contents in a vector. We will look up with an example. Similarly, we can make a sum, we can make product over a vector, so that we use the functions called as sum and product. And we work on cumulative sums and cumulative products, that is point to point, element to element. First element will be joined to the next and we get an answer there. And second element and third element, we link it up and we get an answer. So for that, we are going to work with cumulative sum or a cumulative product. And there are some core mathematical functions which can be applied to have a rounded value, a floor value, a styling value. So that can be taken up towards choosing the nearest value. So if I'm going to say some 97.8, so obviously when I am going to use a round function, it will be treated with a value for the next element. That's how a round is going to work it out. Similarly, we have a built-in function called as factorial. So in C, etc., we need to write a complete code for a factorial. But as of now, there are built-in, so we can be taken up in this R language directly. Now, let us see how a cumulative sum or how cumulative product is going to take up. So assume the vector is going to have 12, 5, and 13. And now if I am going to put cumulative sum of the vector called as x, first element will be as it is. Then it goes with 12 plus 5, 17. Then it goes 17 plus 13, we getting 30. So in this way, element by element that are going to execute in cumulative sum. And if I'm going to work with cumulative product and the vector name x, we are going to have some vector as an input here. So now if I'm going to get it as 12, 5, and 13, the first element will be as it is, and then it makes a multiplication operation between 12 into 5. So it gives 60 here, and then 60 into 80 into 13, then it gives 780. So in this way, we get 12, 60, 780. So that's how we are going to get with cumulative sums and cumulative products. And now, when we are going to work with a minimum, that is, when I'm going to say minimum of the matrix and it is 1. So I am not taking up rows. I'm going to find only the column name. So at this case, it is 1, 5, and 6. In this, the minimum value was only 1. So that's how we get the answer. Now, let us see. Now, let us see what happens if we are going to work with the p min. So, what are the vectors? What is the matrix here? So, 1, 5, 5, 3, 6, 2. Then it is going to make a comparison operation. Which one is minimum? So, 1 is minimum. Then it makes a comparison between 5 and 3. Which one is minimum? So, it takes up 3. Then it makes a comparison between 6 and 2. Which one is minimum? So it takes up the value 2 here. So in this way, 1, 5, and 2 are going to be displayed. So we will be getting the cumulative content in this model. Next one, we need to work with optimization. We need to work with optimization functions. So when we are going to work with optimization functions, we will be get the likeliness as min function or max function. The likeliness will hold up either towards a min or it is holding up towards the maximization. At that time, we are going to work with NLM and we are going to work with OPTIM. So we are working with an optimization function with f of x is equals to x square minus sin x. So we should return x square. So how we are going to rate? We are going to write it x power 2. We are going to build up with x power 2. Then sin x we need to mention. Yeah, we can put the things directly here, sin x. So now I need a function f of x. So how can I write f of x? I am going to write a function f of x that with a function name called as f of x. So we supply the answers, we supply the value. Now supplying the value for x, supply the value for x, then we will be getting the minimum, we get the estimate, we get the gradient, we get the code, and how many iterations it has taken to complete to bring up the minimum function or a maximum function, that it is going to be decided with NLM, that it is going to be decided with NLM. Fine. Now let us see the another mathematical function, how to represent the calculus, how to represent the calculus equations in R. So how we are going to put the calculus equations in R. So for that, we are now working with d by dx as a derivative here. X is equals to e power x square, and that it is equals to with 2x e power x square. So how we are going to get this integrated function and all, we need to get into this answer. So first of all, we have to build a d by dx value so that it is we are representing with a user defined content called as d, and then we are going to build up a expression. We are going to build up a expression here. So how we are going to build up an expression was it is going to be with x, and the expression was x square, right? So this is d by dx, and then we need to build e power x square, e power x square. So e, it is going to have an expression, and x cap e we are going to build up with x square, and that's how we are going to see it. And then we need 2 into x into expression of x square. So we are going to write this 2 into x as an expression, and e is going to be called as a expression here, and then we are going to write up this e, that is x cap 2, that is x square, we are going to write in this model. So the representation of a calculus, the representation on algebraic function is quite simple when compared to the other proprietary things or other previous languages. So the entire expression can be built up into a single line, and therefore we can get the derivatives directly. Now let us look into an integrated function that it is 0 to 1. This is the minimum value and this is the maximum value. So how I am going to get this value? So for that I am going to say integrate the function x, and the function was x square. It is going to be x square, and 2 comma it is going to be with 0 comma 1. It is going to be with 0 comma 1. So how it is going to be represented? So it is now in this model function followed by x cap 2 followed by 0 and 1. So 1 it is going to point out the maximum, 1 it is 0 it is going to give up the minimum, and it is going to say x square. So it brings up the value x square, and that's how we are going to get it. And d of x. So d of x, how we are going to get a d of x? We are going to mention it as a function here, and thereby we are going to apply with a constant. So constant is going to be given as 3.33. So we work with the absolute error, etc. in the calculus. Now, we talked about two aspects. One aspect was towards application of mathematical function. Next aspect was towards application of the calculus function. And third was to look in how the R can represent the probabilistic values. How the R is supporting the probabilistic values. Suppose we have n is equals to 3 and our events are named as A, B and C. So how we are going to build it up? So how we are going to build it up was, so the probability of chances A and not B and not C, that is A, B complement and C complement. Then not A and B and not C. So it is like this. And the third option was to build another probability, not A complement, and not B, then B complement, and we need C here. So not A, not B. So for that we are going to build A complement and B complement, and we are going to build a AND operation. So we put directly the product here. So how is this form represented? How is this form represented was, we are going to say probability of A into probability of 1 minus probability of B and 1 minus probability of C. So the generalized form, you can see that it is I with from 1 to n, and it puts up all the probability values up to I value and followed to the nth occurrence. So to put this into a R language, we are going to put this into a function, and the function was, it is given with probability, and it is going to be given with a probability here. Now the initial value, not P, it is given as 1 minus P. 1 minus P, I am going to put it as a P complement here. So we call here as a not P. Now I am going to initialize. So initialize to 0 value. Now next one, how much it should recurrent until the length is given. So we are going to use a for loop. We are going to use for loop here, and this is total was the written type of the function P here, written type of the function P. And now we are going to say tot is equal to some total, that is 0 plus probability of I into that is, we are going to call it as P of A into 1 minus P of B into 1 minus P of probability C. So we need to mention all the probability cases. So we are going to call it as total plus probability of I, that is the first, and then we are going to multiply with the product of not P, and we mention with the value, with the negation value. So that's how we are going to bring up the probability equation. So we are going to bring up the probability equation with one, it says that A, B complement, C complement, or it can be A complement, B, C complement. or it is with A complement, B complement, and C. So we are going to get not P values in this. Now, after probability, after calculus, and after mathematical function, one more interesting thing what R supports was towards the statistical distribution. So it brings up with a bell-shaped graph. So there we are going to get the normal distribution. So how we are going to get the normal distribution? With the function called as d norm. We are going to use a function called as d norm to represent the values. So we have the probability with d norm and we represent the quartile values. So we are going to put up the quartile values, upper quartile or lower quartile values. For that we use quantile norm. And for random numbers, so R stands for here for randomized function. So for this randomized function, we are going to use R norm or R chi-square or R binomial. So distributions, it is supporting normal distribution, chi-square distribution, or binomial distribution. So for that, it is going to use the PDF, that is probability distribution function. It is going to use up the probability distribution functions, d norm, chi-square method, and the distribution for the binomial expression. So we are working with this. And now here is an example. Simulate 1000 chi-square function varieties with degree of freedom. So this is one of a unique case what we should understand, degree of freedom. Two variables we are looking it up, and that is find their mean. So find their mean, we need to look it up. So for that we are going to use R chi-square Q, and the total value was 1000 cases, and DF, it stands for degree of freedom. So it takes up to 2 positions. Then we are going to get the mean value as 1.93, etc. Similarly, we give a chi-square function with a minimum value 0.5 and a maximum value 0.5, and we are going to put the degree of freedom. We are going to put the degree of freedom. So for 0.5, it is a value 1.38, and for 0.95, it is displaying a value of 0.95. So we calculate the range here. We are going to calculate the range between 0.5 to 95 with 1.38 to 0.99. So that's how we work with the statistical function. Another interesting mathematical operation which can be taken up will be the sorting operation. So we have a vector. We are going to have a vector with 13, 5, 12, and 5. We are going to have a vector here, and now once we are going to sort up, this is x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, and x of 4. So we do have the 4 values, 13, 5, 12, and 5. So now when we are sorting it out, so it is by default, it is going to be an ascending order. By default, it is going to be an ascending order. So we are going to get this as 5, 5, 12, and 13. Now, I want the positions. So I want the positions, or I want to find the index. For that, we are going to use the order of x as a function. So we are going to use order of x as a function here. So we can say this, where was this first 5 came? It came from second. Where was the second 5? It came from fourth. Where was the third thing, that is 12 came from? It is from the third, and then it is taking up the 13. So this 2, 4, 5, 3, 1, they are indexing, or they are putting up the positions where they located. So this is how a sort function is going to be managed. And interestingly, along with calculus, probability, and statistical functions, R supports the linear algebra operation, and that can be applied to a vector, or it can be applied towards a matrix. It can be applied to a vector, or it can be applied to a matrix which can be in 2 or 3 dimensional content. Now take up a vector here. So why it is 1, 3, 4 and 10, and when we are going to multiply with 2, it multiplies only to the position. It multiplies only to the position. Okay, it doesn't multiply with each and element. So it goes with 1, 3, it goes with 2, 3, and then it displays with 2, 4, and then it displays with 2, 10. So in this way, the answers it goes or multiplies with the position. So it doesn't mingle up all the elements. Next was an interesting thing. We are going to work with cross product. So in cross product, we take 1 to 2, 3 as an element as one thing. Another, we are going to say it is 5, 12 and 13. Now we are going to work with this cross product. So what it does was, it is going to perform a multiplication operation between the two positions, and thereby it is going to do a adding operation. So it does 1 into 5 plus 2 into 12 plus and 3 into 13. So it goes position wise. So position wise it is going to perform the arithmetic operations. So it does 5 plus 24 plus 39, and obviously it is going to get the value of 68. Obviously it is going to get the value as 68. So position wise content is going to move up. So as it is supporting the linear algebra operations, the earlier example was only towards vectors. Now let us look in an example where the linear algebra operations, they can perform it over matrix multiplication. So let us see this matrix multiplication. We do have the cases as 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 0, -1 and 1. So the answer what we are going to expect was 1, 3, 1, 1. So first we are going to put this as an A matrix. Second we are going to put a B matrix, and between A and B, the most important thing was we have an operator to do matrix multiplication. So matrix multiplication operator. So we have to perform using the matrix multiplication operator, and that it is applied between A and B to get the answer. So then it goes with position wise matrix multiplication as we do it on a pen and paper. So let us see here, we can use a function called as solve, and what we need to solve, and we are going to compute the inverse of a matrix, and thereby we need to solve the operation. So we are going to put it as this 1 here, x2 is 1, x minus x1, we get -1, and this is the operation, and we need to find the values of x1 comma x2. We need to find the values of x1 comma x2. So what happens was, we should shift the composition, towards the other end. So we should shift the composition towards the other end. So how is this moving, etc. can be noted out. So for this, we need to apply a function called as solve. We need to apply a function called as solve. So first of all, we need to create a matrix. So matrix, we are going to create it with a reserved word called as matrix, and the components are 1, 1, -1 and 1, and rows is 2, and columns it is represented as 2. So n stands for number of rows and number of columns. Now we can understand that when we are going to use this, so here we work with a solve function. So solve function, it is going to bring it up with the values called as 3 and 1. It is going to bring up the values 3 and 1 here. So we get this values 3 and 1. So the next one was the extension towards another matrix operation. So we still have some matrix operations here. One, we are going to identify the transpose of that matrix. We compute a function with T. Then we need to decompose the matrix, that we call it as QR. And then we use some Cholesky decomposition. And similarly, if we want to find the det, that is the determinant of the matrix, or we need to work with eigenvalues and eigenvector, then we are going to use the eigenfunction. And if we want to print up only the diagonal elements, if I want to print up only the diagonal elements, then we can use the diagonal reserved word. So, and work with sweep operation in numerical analysis, we do with a sweep. Now let us check the matrix called as M, and it is having 2 by 2 number of rows and number of columns. And see here dm, it is moved with diagonal of M. So the diagonal of M, it is going to be with 1 and 8. So when I am going to print up this dm here, so it displays 1 and it displays 8. So that's how we are going to get the diagonal element. Next one. Now I want to display only the diagonal elements. So not other elements. Then other elements are going to be put with 0. Diagonal elements are going to be printed out with this function called as diagonal of dm. Diagonal of dm. So that's how we work diagonal matrices. Next interesting linear algebraic operations will be the set operations. So in set operations, we had a lot of exposure towards union, intersection, set difference, that is x and y, the set difference, etc. And whether the set is the set 1 equal to set 2 and all, we need to identify. So let us see, we have a matrix called as x and we have a matrix called as y, and now it is 1, 2, 5, and I can say it is 1 is going to be a common position, and 5 is also going to be a common position between two entities. So only x, it will be 2, and we have 8 and 9. So this is 1, 2, 5 value x, and value y was 5, 1, 8 and 9. So that's how we represented it. Now when I'm going to put this union, it says 2, 1, 5, 8 and 9, we get this value. Then it is going to be a intersection. Then it is going to be intersect value. So obviously we will be getting only 1 and 5, that is intersect of x comma y, and then it is like this, x minus y, it is set difference, and y minus x. So when it is such a value, this is x minus y, and when this is such a value, only to display the right hand side, it is y minus x. So we get this value set difference as 2 and set difference as 8 and 9. So that's how we are going to put the values with the set difference function. And we need to check whether is matrix x is equals to y. So it is obviously no, so we are going to call it as false. So 1, 2, 5, and here we are going to have 5, 1, 8, 9. So this is the set 1, set 2. So set 1 and set 2 is not equal. So we call it as a false option here. So in this way, we are going to work with the different set operations. Similarly, we have simulations which work towards R programming. That's where we have with built-in randomized functions. So we need to have some random numbers. We need to generate some random numbers. So when we toss up a coin, that or if I have 4 apples, so I am going to have some elements. So red, green, blue, yellow. So red, green, blue, yellow, and I'm going to pick up one of a ball with that color red. So how much is the chances? We need to take up. So randomly we are going to pick up. So for that we use up this random number. So for that we work with different statistical primitives. One earlier we worked with chi-square method, or we talked about the uh, other um, bell-shaped graph, that is normal distributions, etc. So those, they are with random numbers or binomial or Bernoulli random varieties. And there it is working with a vector, which is with a function called as random binomial normalization. So here we get a random, and that it should be printed up, it should be printed or obey with the binomial random series. So that is the key concept here. So here we can see the probability of getting at least 4 heads out of 5 tosses. So this was the question put up. So how many heads I'm going to put a coin with the head or tail, and how much is the probability to get up 4 heads. So uh, the number, we are going to work with the maximum value, that is the occurrences in 1 lakh occurrences, and we say the number of occurrences, and we have 5. So that is, I'm going to take 5 samples and zero point 0.5. Why is it 0.5? That is one, it is 5, another with zero point 0.5. One it goes with head and another it goes with tail. So that's why we are going to put 0.5. And the condition was, it is x greater than or equals to 4. So the chances we, there we are going to get is 5. So we get the value with normalization, and the occurrences value was 0.18. We get a mean function. So this lecture talking about mathematical and statistical simulations and other functions. So mathematical function were with exponents, log 10, square root, absolute, sine, cos, min, max, indexes, which dot max, p min, sine, product, cumulative sine, cumulative product, random, force, sphere, factorial towards mathematical function. And we noted out how it is going to work. And for bringing up the optimized equations, optimized functions, it uses NLM, and to find the minimum value, to find the maximum value for building up a relation in optimization theory, we work with this value. And then it is supporting with calculus, where the derivative part, where the integrative part is going to be represented as formulas in our language. Then a probability P is also going to be notated with the equations P of A into 1 minus P of B into 1 minus P of C. And the statistical distributions with normal, chi-square, or binomial are defined with various functions like G norm, chi-square, the binomial, and quarantines with upper, lower, and random numbers with R norm, chi-square, and binomial. And similarly, a sorting function is supported via this through the linear algebraic and functions. So linear algebraic functions, they are applied with vectors and matrix, and they do up not holistically, they do up with position to position, point to point. So the most important key takeaway was, to do a matrix multiplication, we need a symbol with percentage, star, and percentage. So that was the change we should have mathematical operation, the multiplication operations, when we work it out on the matrix multiplication. Similarly, some more algebraic functions which can be used will be the transpose of a matrix, the determinant of a matrix, the eigenvector or the eigenvalues from a matrix, and the diagonal printing the diagonal elements from a matrix are some of the takeaways. And the operations such as union, intersection, A minus B, B minus A, such as set difference and equality between two matrix, similarity between two matrix is also some of the functions which are comes under the category called as set operation. And to do simulated part, it is going to work with random values, and random values as discussed, they are with R by N, or it can be with normal distribution. This is all from this